Welcome to episode 62 of Fit, Fierce, and Fearless. I am your host, Zen, and today my guest is April Miller from Jade X Studio in Utah, USA. We're going to learn about how April left corporate America to become a full-time pole instructor in her 50s. Get ready for something different. Thanks for listening. Today I have a guest, April Miller from Jade X Studio. April was referred to the podcast by Carl, who you all remember. Never too old to pole, I think. Oh gosh, I probably got it wrong. I always get it wrong, and I just looked at it before the show. But you guys remember Carl. And also Bronco Sarah, who does chains, who was on the podcast earlier this year. So April is, I guess, a peer of Sarah's in Utah. You guys train not together, but maybe alongside one another because you are polar and Sarah focuses on chains. So
Correct. Yeah.
welcome to the show, April. And April and I just met today. So we just had some email exchanges and DMs, but we just got a chance to chat before I turned on the recording. So you guys, we're going to get to learn about April together in a live environment. So no pressure.
It's all good.
Welcome to the podcast, April. I'm
Thank
happy you're
you.
here. Yeah. And besides pole, April is a painter. So if you are watching the video, you can see her beautiful paintings hanging behind her. Gorgeous. Love it. So yeah, April, welcome. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm April Miller. I am almost 53. I like to say now that I'm getting older, I like to almost go the other direction because I'm proud of being older. So I'm almost 53, a few more weeks. Um, and I am a mother of two and grandmother of four. I have been polling since 2014. And I've been instructing since 2018. Um, and I am retired ish for the most part since like 2020. And I was a CFO for an engineering firm before that. So
I think that's so cool. And well, first of all, congratulations on being a grandmother 4 times.
thank
That's really cool. My kids are I have twins and they're my oldest and they're about to turn 20
you.
this
Wow.
Sunday.
Nice.
And then I have a younger one who's 18. So I'm not in the grandma stage yet, but I do once in a while think about how nice that will be after going through the last few years of teenager life. And like, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that
It makes
stage.
having
So
children completely worth it.
yeah.
I always tell
Oh,
my girls that. I'm like, I'm glad I had you so that I could have grandchildren.
yeah. Cool. Love it. And do they, how old are the grandchildren?
So I have seven, four, three, four, 7, 4, 3, and like 2 months, 7, 8 weeks,
Okay.
something like
Oh,
that.
a
So
baby.
baby, yes. So three
Wow,
boys and a
that's
girl.
fun.
So
Amazing. That's
yes.
beautiful. So do they see you on the pole? Do they get on the pole?
So
The older
the
ones,
the two
obviously.
older ones live close, and the other two do not. But the two older ones actually, what are we? We're Thursday, so last Saturday. Um, the 4-year-old comes around and upstairs and he's like, Mima, you have to come downstairs and say, I climbed to the top of the pole. So I had to go down there and watch him like monkey foot all the way up to my pole because I have a pole in my house, right? And so, yeah, so they both are very aware of what I do. I've brought them to the studio a couple of times and they've played on the big poles and the lyra and the hammocks and stuff like that. And so, yeah, they they're very, very aware and cool with what grandma does. So
But there's something about being a little kid and climbing. Like it's just fun.
it is fun.
I don't know
I
why.
completely agree. I know.
I'm I still don't know why I like to do it now. Like I don't know. Someone explain it.
And I'm terrified of heights, but
Uh-huh.
yet when I think our poles are 14 feet at the studio, But when I'm on the pole, and I think it's probably, no, I don't know. I don't have any issues when I'm up at the top of the pole, but man, you get me even close to any type of ledge or anything, and my
Mhm.
feet are hurting, my teeth hurt, like everything. But I don't seem to have a problem with it on a pole.
That's so funny. So interesting how our brains work.
It is.
Um, so you've been teaching for 8 years?
Yeah,
6 years?
off and
8
on.
years?
Mhm,
Yeah.
8 years.
Okay, amazing. And you teach pole
Mhm.
primarily or only? Do you do
Uh,
any other
so I did teach heels, but this is gonna make me sound 53. I have a hip issue, and slapping those 8-inch heels on doesn't make it any better. So
Mhm.
currently, all I'm teaching is pole. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, I love the shoes. I wear them almost always. However, for over a year, I was dealing with a knee problem. And then I also had sciatica in my back, which was
Oh,
like affecting my hip and my whole
yeah,
leg. And what
absolutely.
I found out was the shoes were basically aggravating everything. So I
Yeah.
had to take a break from the shoes. And I noticed a difference like real quick
Yeah,
between wearing
I
them and not wearing them.
I still wanted to teach. I mean, I still wanted to teach hills, but because I can't right now, we switched it from hills to like a contemporary choreo.
Hmm.
So it's still dance, but it's, it could be kind of hip hoppy, it could be sad and sulky, it could be like, I don't know, whatever song I choose, right? And then we just do, and it's a beginner, a beginner
Hmm.
class so that everybody can come and do it. So in socks, socks and knee pads basically. So
Fun. I think that's fun. I like to explore movement in that way. Um,
yes,
it's more emotional, right?
it
Depending on
is.
the vibe of the song. So yeah, that's fun. Speaking of dance, do you have a dance background or how did you find yourself in the pole studio the first time?
I have zero dance background. I have zero any kind of background, like nothing. There's no part of me that was athletic, dance. I didn't do any sports. I'm not really sure what I did, to be quite honest with you growing up, but it wasn't anything that was physical, that's for sure.
Painting, maybe.
So my mother was a painter. So that's
Oh,
that's why yeah. No, so this is the story. I'll try and tell it short because it's actually kind of funny. Because back when I started in 2014, pole was not that's we didn't talk about polling, right? If
yeah,
you polled, you were a stripper, right?
yeah,
And forgive me if that's politically incorrect. Now, I don't know what the correct term is. So
it's fine.
I mean well.
Yeah.
Um, but back then, you didn't do it. But I was so tired of just like going to the rec center to work out and try and stay in
Hmm.
shape and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so I sat down one night and I was like, okay, what would be like realistically do could I have my body look like? Right? Like how do I want? And I was like, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder because I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to look like a cyclist, right? I don't want to.
Hmm.
And I'm not kidding you. I was like, again, forgive my stripper connotation, but I was like, strippers have nice bodies. I wonder
Yeah,
what
they
they do
do.
for fitness, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been to some clubs, like they're amazing. I wonder what they do. So again, don't do this. But back in 2004, before this was all a thing, I Googled stripper fitness.
Well, you were earnestly trying to figure it out.
I
There's
really
nothing wrong with that. There's
but
nothing wrong with that.
but no, but I'm saying don't do it because the things that come
Oh,
up,
well, now, yeah.
you don't want to Google that. So it came up with some of the strangest things. But in that search, I did find a studio that was about an hour away from me. And I will never forget the first time I went. I was very hesitant, right? Because again, this is a long time ago and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I went in full like yoga gear, like pants, shirt. I didn't know what to expect, my tennis shoes, everything. And I walk in the door of this place and it was like a scene out of a horror movie. It was a really, really long, like super long hallway
Mhm.
with flickering lights
Oh, God.
and dirty handprints on the
Oh,
wall. And
jeez.
I'm like walking down the hall and I'm looking back at the doors, literally just like a horror movie. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? I finally get down the hall to the studio. It was in like a big building. There was a bunch of different businesses in it. And I opened it up and it was just like it had this big chandelier with heels hanging from it and all these mirrors. It was so beautiful. And I never looked back. Like
Aw.
I'm like, this is my thing. I want to be a dancer, right? So I was 40 when I found that. And so that's my funny story when people are like, "What? How did you get into it?" I'm like, "Oh, I googled stripper fitness."
I love it. And I love
And
that
here
you
I am.
actually and I love that you sat down and thought about like, well, what kind of body do I want to have? And then you compared all the different types of athletes and training. Yeah.
And
And you're
I
right.
don't know if I could ever have a body like that, but I was like, they have nice bodies. I and
Yes.
they're all different shapes and they're all so beautiful and they're all like, oh, like so what do you do to like keep the figure that you have looking that way? I'm like, I want to do that.
Yes.
So,
I think it's true. It is a full body workout, everything all
mm,
the time, right? But I think there's also a confidence that comes as a woman who
yes.
does pole because of the roots in stripping, and how it was so taboo and like being like,
Right.
well, I'm going to do it anyway because I think they look beautiful, and being confident enough to walk down that scary hallway and then open the door to this. It almost sounds like the Wizard of Oz, like it went from black and white to color when you open the door, and it was like, ah.
It was so I was terrified. I really was. I'm like, what are you doing, April? Are you freaking kidding me? Like I'm near 40. Like what? You really think that you can do this at 40? You know, it was just the whole thing looking back on it is really funny. And everybody that was there at the time was like 20, right?
Yeah.
They were like super, super young. And um, so I do find it interesting now, you know, so many years later that those 20-year-olds are now, you know, like 35
Mhm.
ish. They're starting to feel the aches and the pains a little bit, not a
Yeah.
lot. So I'm seeing these influencers now on, you know, Instagram, social media, stuff like that, where before they were like, go get it, go do it. Yeah, push your body, all that kind of stuff. And now they're
Yeah.
like, you know, take some time for yourself, let your body rest. And I have like a little bit of resentment. I'm not kidding you because when I started, I remember those people telling me, you just need to like stretch more or you just need to drink more water. And in my mind, I'm like, no, you need to be 15 years older and then you can come talk to me. And now that I'm in my 50s, like it is harder, right?
Yeah.
It's just wear and tear.
Mhm.
I'm a badass in my personal opinion, but I'm still 53, right?
Right.
And I have 53 years of wear and tear on my joints and all of that kind of stuff. And I do have to take more care and take more time and treat myself well. But the people that I started with now they're just barely starting to get into it. And I'm like, honey, I thought it was hard when I was 40. Give it another 15 years when you're 50 and come and talk to me.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why we're here, and that's why I do what I do, is because, well, there's two reasons. One, I want women who are 40 and think, "Oh, that would be so cool to walk into that beautiful studio, but I'm too old." I want them to know you're not too old. Even if you're 50, you're not too old. Just go do it and see what happens. And then the other thing is to have like a realistic point of view about, yes, you could do this at 53, 56, but do I take a lot of rest days? Yep. Am I chasing every trick I see? No, because I don't feel like I need to do that anymore. I'm doing it doesn't hurt my body. So like we were talking about the shoes, am I always wearing the shoes doing choreo? No. Sometimes I'm just wearing the shoes to make my lines look prettier on the spin pole when I'm doing a shape. I'm not even on the ground.
Yeah.
And then it
Yes.
doesn't hurt if I'm not standing on it. It doesn't bother my knee, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's also what made me try hoop Lyra, because I was having knee issues, and supporting my weight on the ground. I needed to rehab my knee and my hip. But on hoop, I didn't have the pain because, yes, I was twisting and turning those joints, but it wasn't weight bearing directly. It was a different type of weight bearing. I was hanging from my knee instead of standing.
It's so funny that you should say that because So I've tried all the apparatus, right? The Lyra silks, hammock, all those things throughout the course of all of these years. And the owner of our studio of Jade X, Lindsay, she is a Lyra specialist.
Okay.
And I have told her, like, I feel like there's two things that the devil's going to make me do when I die if I go to hell. One is running, and the
Oh.
other is Lyra. That is not for the faint of heart. That is, oh my gosh, it hurts so bad.
It is.
And I have, this is funny because I do pull. I have really like debilitating motion sickness, which I know it doesn't go at all. I know, but and Lyra is horrible because not only does it spin this way, but it rocks, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
I can't even do like one like a circus mount or anything on it, and I just want to like puke. So,
That's so funny. It is
so I have
different.
great respect for people that do that. Like,
Yeah, I trained it almost exclusively for like nearly a year.
oh wow.
And now I haven't unfortunately had time because I've been doing everything else. But yeah, it's different because the pole is affixed to the ceiling and the floor.
Yes.
So we're literally just spinning around this
Hmm.
narrow axis. But yeah, the hoop is
And you
just,
can control it
mhm.
better by,
Yeah, the
leveraging
speed.
your arms and stuff. You can control that, but you're still just doing this. You're not, you're
Yeah,
not doing
true.
this. And if I want to put it on static and do all of my rotation myself, I can do that. There is no other apparatus that you can do that.
Yeah,
So,
that is true.
so
I
I
know.
I love static.
You do. So you're a static girl.
I do like static. I teach mostly spin because that's what people, like in especially in like beginner and intermediate levels, they want that pretty flowy kind of whatever. But I prefer to do static. Not only do I think that it takes more strength to continue your spin, more strength and control. And I've never been a very flexible person. And so it's kind of the joke at our studio that April's not flexible, but she makes up for it in strength.
Mhm.
So therefore static is more, I enjoy being on static a
Yeah,
lot for those reasons too. So
yeah. I can see it in your shoulders and your upper arms just on the camera.
I am manly. I am I am like, yeah, I don't know.
Pole, beautiful pole physique.
I I had a student tell me a couple of months ago, she was like, April, you have back abs. And I'm like, what? And I mean, I've been doing this for a really long time, but I never look at my back,
Yeah.
right? I never look at it. She's like, yeah, you have back abs. And I'm like, oh, cool.
You need to take some photos of your back. It's
Evidently.
pretty cool.
Uh,
So do you see a lot of women that are older coming through your studio? Like, are your students mostly 20 or do you have 40-year-olds?
we actually have a really, really good variety of age groups, men and women.
Mm,
But I would say that and I'm only speaking from the pole side because the aerial side I think is probably different. I'm not really sure, but the pole side, we either have like younger, like 20, and then it jumps to like mid 30s. Like there's at least in my opinion that I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure. So we have a good variety. There's only a few of us that are in our 50s. And again, I'm only speaking for the pole side. I think there's only three of us, if I'm
hmm.
not mistaken. So, but quite a few women in their 30s and 40s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And do you compete or perform or?
I do not. I've thought about competing. I'm just not. I injured myself very early on in my pole career, and psychologically during it, not during a competition, just during like a showcase, and it was pretty severe. And psychologically, I am always like, I'm gonna perform. I'm gonna perform in this next showcase, and then just thinking about performing, I'm like almost in cardiac arrest. So I don't. I don't. Yeah, I just don't.
Fair, fair. I mean, not everybody does. It's interesting in Los Angeles. I'm in LA, and there is it just seems to be the thing to do is like you pull for like a year and a half, you do PSO, and then you do all the showcases, and then you're kind of after doing that maybe 2 years, two comp seasons, people just kind of get on to the next thing. But it seems like a rite of passage here.
I have zero problems being in front of however many students teaching, but I don't know. There's just something about having to perform,
Yep.
even though teaching is a performance.
Yes.
I don't think that until you start teaching that you realize how performative it actually is. You know, the state that your emotional state has to be in, your physical state. You can't say, "Oh, I've got a pain in my shoulder, so I'm not going to do this tonight." You know what I mean? Like it's very I see these funny memes on Instagram where it's like, half an hour before class and the instructor's like curled up in a ball in a blanket eating Cheetos and like hurt and pain and everything. And then when they're in class, they're like, "Hey, how is everyone doing?" Like there's nothing wrong with them, you know what I mean? Because it's incredibly when I say taxing, I don't mean like negative. Like I've never felt like teaching was a negative experience at all. But as a matter of fact, there have been times where I have not been teaching and my emotional state is not well because I just love it so
Oh.
much. But it is like you come home and I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything because after so many hours of like that level of
Mhm.
expenditure, because I want everybody's experience to be the best. I want them to walk out of there feeling like they had a win, that they can do badass things like the rest of us, and in order to give and facilitate that for every person, every hour, it's exhausting, but it's so fulfilling too. Like it's so fulfilling. I love it. And our studio has 9 poles and they are 10 feet apart.
It's
So
great.
it's actually, I've been to 12 different studios. I've never been to a studio that has as much space in between the poles as this one does. But when you think of it that from an instructor standpoint, that is a lot of real estate
Yeah.
have to be checking, and we do double up on polls sometimes. So I may have 12, 14 people in a class, and in that distance, and if you have like a beginner class with that many and you've got 3 or 4 brand new people, it's a lot. Like it is a lot. But there's nothing better than seeing them come back and you're like, "I did a good job and you did a good job and this is awesome." And yeah, I don't know. I just love it. I don't ever want to be too old to not teach.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Did you ever teach anything before you taught pole?
No. I was trying to think. I'm like, it's been so long. No. No,
Interesting.
I don't know. I had one of my instructors told me one time, and again, this was a long time ago. I said, I would really love to teach. I would love to learn how to teach. What can I do? Right? Because there's no specific certification or anything
Yeah,
at the moment that you have to have. And she said to me something very, very impactful. And I have since shared it with many other students since then, because you can be a good polar and not a good instructor. And you
100%
can be
agree.
a good instructor and not a good polar. Like it's
Yeah.
you need both, right? And I didn't know because I had never taught before. I'm like, how do I be an instructor? Like I think I'd be okay with the pole part, but I don't know. And she said to me, when you come to class as a student, you need to listen to me as if you were the instructor. You need to listen to what I say like you're going to be repeating that in your class. Don't, because as students, we go in and we're just like, we hear it, we do it, we go home, right? But she's like, I want you to hear it and then I want you to keep it so that you can then expend it, in a class that you teach. And I did that for a long time, a really, really long, like I don't know, a couple of years probably. I would go to classes and I would intently listen to the instructors as like, okay, if I were teaching this class, I would say that, or I would say that, or whatever. And that's actually how I learned to instruct,
To
was
teach.
just by going to classes and pretending like I was the teacher, even though I was the student.
Yeah.
And nobody knew I was doing that except for her, but it was like, it was the best information was advice that was ever given to me as far as instructing was concerned. And so, um, yeah. And then I opened up my own studio in 2018, and that's the first time that I really started teaching like on my own.
Mhm.
And you just, you get thrown to the wolves when you do it like that.
Yeah. It does take a really specific type of person to be an excellent instructor. And obviously, I can see and hear the way you speak about it. Like it's you, it's who you are. And I've seen on your Instagram too. Like you're very meticulous in the work that you do on the pole. You're very technical and focused. And I think that even in choreography, right? And sometimes when you get into a class, and like you said before, we don't really have a standard for instructors or certification or
Mhm.
anything like that. And there can be a fantastic dancer who is mesmerizing to watch when they are doing their own art, but it doesn't mean that they can always convey how to do that to a student in a way that's effective and transferable, and that's okay.
It's really hard to find good instructors for that reason. I know that in all the years that I've been teaching, as students come in and I start to teach them, I look for that quality. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, she's going to be a good puller, and she has that social grace and that skill to connect with people and help them through it. I'm definitely one of those instructors that is. I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not going to blow rainbow dust up your ass. Sorry. That's not okay to say that. I'm like, I am not. If you look like crap, I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to say, but let's fix it.
Right.
Right? Like,
Yes.
I'm known as the toe pointing Nazi. I'm like, point your toes. And I know that there's some debate about right now about whether or not that you have to or not, but I'm sorry. That doesn't look good unless you point your toes. And but the way I come across, I think to most people, they take it really well. Is I don't know. It's just I'm definitely one of those people that you love or you don't, as far as like going to my class,
Mhm.
because I'm very one on one. And if I see you doing something that is you're making it more difficult, or it doesn't look as good as it could be, right? I'm going to call you out. I'm not just going to be like, oh, that's wonderful. No,
Right.
that's not wonderful.
Yeah.
But you
And
know
that's
what?
another
Put
thing
you
that happens.
strong and let's fix it. So it is
Yeah.
wonderful. Like,
Exactly. I think that that's another thing that happens in some studios too, especially here because there are so many studios in Southern California that it's like a political minefield among studio owners. But also, the instructors want the students to come back to their class. So many times you will get the instructors that are just the cheerleaders, regardless of what the person is doing, because it feeds somebody's ego and then they come back to class even though they're not really learning anything.
yes.
So,
And I
you
know
know,
we're really good about that at Jade. Like all of us, all of the instructors are very good about, please don't come to just my class. Like I genuinely do
yes,
not want you to come to just my class, because if you do, you will not be a well-rounded aerialist or polar. You won't. If you only learn from like one instructor, you're not going to be well-rounded. And so we are constantly at our studio, go and see Billy, go and see Riley, go and see Ashley, Paige, whatever. Like, please go to their classes. It doesn't mean that you can't have your favorite, but
right.
like, I'm not super flexy and flowy. So if you want to be flexible and flowy, don't come to my class. But if
Right.
you want to be super strong and be able to hold that beautiful flexy pose that you just learned from somebody else, come to my class and get strong, and then put the two together, and you will be such a much more an amazing puller. And so we're really good about that. But to your point, we don't have 1,000 studios here. It's they're few and far between, at least where we're at. There's quite a few more north of us, but like an hour north. But there's really, we're pretty much exclusive with the type of training that we have. We have really good instructors, and um, yeah, we're not just like a pole boutique,
Right.
where you just go and you just like do. Like if you come to our studio to train
Yeah,
and still have fun, right? Of course, but
sure.
but yeah, so there's not really anything until you go about an hour north of us. So we don't have that.
Right. It's different. I know
Yeah.
LA is its own weird bubble when it comes to that. And that's not even talking about like the circ schools, which
Oh
I can't
yeah.
even tell you how many there are, that's every kind of aerial except for pole. And then we have the gymnastics training facilities too that do all the flexy stuff and
Oh my
acros stuff.
gosh.
So I mean, we're lucky that we have so many options, but yeah, it gets a little bit crazy. And then there's a lot of instructors because there's a lot of need for instructors. So yeah, the range of ability and affinity is pretty broad.
We do
But
not have that here.
yeah,
It's our polars are good, but the good ones, they're teaching at a studio somewhere, right?
yeah,
And so there's not, it's hard to get retention long enough in a student to where they're able to instruct. You, they either have to be there for a really long time and really work hard, or they have to have some sort of background, dance, gymnastics, something like that, to where they like immediately move into it, and then you can build the instructing point from there. And so it's harder to find good instructors down here for sure.
I'm sure. Do you do any other kind of training, cross training, weight training?
I do. I do go to the gym, but I don't do typical weights. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest with you. I'll put on like a 30, 40 pound vest depending on the day. And then I do like movement through that with body weight on. So I'll do like cross axe squats and push-ups and stuff that's like utilizing my joints with weight on it, instead of just like sitting down and like busting out some reps and weight. It's very like in motion with weight on. So, but that's honestly, if I'm being honest, that's because of my age.
Yeah.
It really is, because I want to stay strong
Yeah.
in ways that I'm utilizing like everyday motion. You know what I mean? When I'm bending down and when I'm doing this and that, I don't want to lose that. And so my cross training it's still very intense, but it's more movement instead of
Yeah.
just, you couldn't pay me to get on a treadmill, like,
Oh God, no.
or to take a Zumba class or something
Yeah.
like that. I have zero desire. Like I said, I don't do things that I don't want to do anymore. So
I love it. That's the luxury of being in your 50s. It's
yes,
like,
it is.
I did all that. I was a runner forever and I hated it.
Oh my
I
God.
will never be a runner again. Plus my knees won't let me, but
I don't get that.
never.
I have a friend that's a really good runner, and or however you say it. And I told him, I'm like, I never see a runner that looks happy ever. Like ever. I don't care where I'm at. I could be like at the most beautiful park ever and on the most beautiful trail, and here comes a runner and they're like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't want to take part in that. I am winded going up my stairs. I don't know how people run. Like, it's kind of like Lyra. I'm like, I think it takes a certain kind of person to like,
That's so funny. But you're right. Like you never see anybody running with like a grin on their face.
no, no, they always look miserable. And I'm like,
They
I
do.
do not want to do that.
And it's also interesting that you say you're winded going up the stairs because what
Oh,
we do has a cardiovascular effect to it, but
it does.
it's different. And I think that the pacing of it, where our bodies are used to it, so we don't feel that windedness
Yes.
necessarily. But then if
Well,
you do something like going for a hike, I'll get really winded in the beginning of a
it's
hike, and I'm like, what is happening? I just spent 2 hours at the studio and I was fine.
I know, and people see us and we're like, we're built,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
we go for a walk in the park and we're like, "Ugh." Like, it's a different kind of muscle. It's so funny. It's true though. Like I think, like, to your point, we get up on the pole and we do 20, 30 seconds, and then we get down and we take a break, right? Because it's so intensive. Like, you could never, it always cracks me up when people are like, oh, I have to share a pole. And I'm like, sweetheart, you're not going to want to be on the pole for 45 minutes to an hour. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way you're going to be able to do that. It's totally fine to share a pole. I mean, I don't know what you guys do there, but it's very common for us to share a pole here. But when
Yes.
new people come, they're like, I don't want to share a pole. I want it
Right.
all to myself. And I'm like, no, you really don't.
Yeah,
I
no.
promise you really don't. It's very, very hard.
Yes. We do, it depends on what the class is. So if it's like a trick combos kind of class, usually
Mhm.
there's shared poles. If it's just a choreo, not just, I should never say that. If it's a choreo
I know what
class,
you mean.
then
Yeah.
usually we don't share pole. But
Yes.
sometimes we do. It
Yeah.
depends.
We don't share poles in choreo and heels.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just different. But if we do,
Mhm.
like, we have classes called skills classes where we'll just pick two or three tricks and
Yes.
we just drill those tricks. It's not even a
Yes.
combo.
Yes.
We drill those tricks, and they're usually tricks that need to be used for the next level, in the sense of, like, if you're going to like a third level or something, you need to know, like, the foundational skills for
Right.
that. Like,
Yeah.
you really need to know those. You need to have them perfected before you go there, or else you're going to be behind. So we'll drill, like, those skills in a skills class. And then we have just combo classes, right, where you put together, however many moves that you put in your combo. So we've got different classes. But yes, we're the same way. We'll double up on a skills and a combo, but
Mhm.
we don't double up on choreo or heels
Yeah.
classes. Yeah.
Makes sense. So what classes do you teach?
So I teach pole, and I teach the combo classes and the skills classes, and then choreo as well.
Okay. Okay. And how
Yeah.
many are you teaching every week?
I'm scheduled for 4 classes a week.
Okay.
I don't the owner of our studio is really, really good about, she doesn't want people teaching more than 4 a week, because she knows that, number one, it's exhausting,
Yeah.
and number two, we need to have time to train on our own as well.
Yeah.
And if you're teaching, and again, everybody's different, but for our studio, and she probably would let us teach more, but she feels like 4 is good. It still allows you the physical recuperation time to still be able to do maybe a day or two on your own as well. And so that you're not just pulling every single day and killing yourself. So, yeah. So we'll do 2 back-to-back classes. So we'll teach 2 nights and we'll do 2 classes each night.
Got it.
But there'll be multiple instructors in one night that back each other. But we're usually just 2 classes a piece. So on
That
each
makes
day.
sense. Yeah, I think that's a very sound practice because yeah, as an instructor, you have to prepare for your class.
Yes.
You have to prepare your body, so you need to do your workout during the week and you need to rest. So if
Yes.
you're teaching every night, you don't get a chance to do those other things. So,
Yeah, and when people are like, "Oh, it's only 4 hours," I'm like, No, but you have prep time. You also have your own. If you're not training, then you're not advancing either, and you're not going to stay ahead of your students. And
right.
so when you put it all together, you know, you're looking 10 to 15 hours a week if you're teaching four classes a week, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a lot. I mean, you think about people that say, I go to the gym every day and I go for an hour. That's only 7 hours. I'm always
Yeah,
doing more than 7 hours, right?
right.
And
Going
so,
to the gym is like in addition to the time at the studio. It's like,
oh,
oh,
it really
great.
is. It very,
Yeah.
very much is. Yeah.
Like, am
That's,
I supposed to be impressed by that?
I know. I know. I always laugh. You'll laugh at this. I had somebody Monday. And it's funny because the girl that lived with us, I told you about, Paige, it's another instructor at our studio, she had the exact same thing happen to her at the same gym. On Monday, when I was doing my weird workout, he comes up to me and he goes, excuse me, can I ask you something? And then he goes, I'm not hitting on you. And I'm like, that's good because I'm married. And he goes, I was just wondering, like, what are you training for? And because the same thing had happened to the girl that was living with me, I used her response. And I just looked at him, I said, life,
That's awesome.
right? Because
Yeah,
what we're doing, like, we're not training for, well, I'm not training for comp,
right.
I'm not training for anything. I'm just training for life. I just want to stay driving on the road. You know what I mean? I don't want to be
Yes.
taking a permanent rest stop. And so I'm like, life. And he's like, you're not training for anything in particular? I'm like, nope, not really. Because around here, so I'm in Utah, and the state is very religious based. And so to just outright say, oh, I'm training because I teach pole, it's not received. The percentage of it being received well is pretty low. People don't know that, they just immediately think that you're a stripper. And so even if we say, pole fitness or aerial fitness or something like that, there's still that we're working on it. We're working on it, but it's still, we did a parade. We had a float in the parade, and we actually had somebody on the side of the road that was like, we don't want strippers in our town. And I'm like, oh my God. You do not. And we didn't even have a pole on the float. We had a lollipop.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, where are you getting this from? So it's still very, very sheltered here, in the pole community. And so it's hard to get women to come in, not only just because it's pole, right? Because it's
Mhm.
can be intimidating, but also because of the religious uh, stigma and everything that
Sure.
that we have to like battle here. And so
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a battle.
it
Anything women
is.
want to do where we have autonomy over our bodies,
I know.
it's we're gonna have to fight for it a little longer, I
I
guess, but
know.
we keep doing it.
You do, you do. And to the people that are like, we don't want strippers, I'm like, are you sure? Because we're lovely.
Yeah, right?
We are beautiful. Have you?
Yes,
I'm like, I don't think you know what
exactly.
you're talking about.
And that's the thing. I think those people don't really know what they're talking about and
You
haven't
don't.
spent a lot of time thinking about it. So it's like you kind of have to let it just roll off your back and
And this
keep
is the
going.
average woman, even the women that are going to like the heels classes and stuff like that to find their sensuality again.
Right.
These are still average women.
Hmm.
We don't look like the people that you're thinking about that look amazing how they move. Like most of us don't look like that.
Right.
We don't, but we do our best, and we love it, and we love the movement, and we love the fact that we're allowed that space to be able to move that way and not be, whatever, judged or whatever it is and stuff. But I think that women in general, they stop and they say, well, I can't go and do that because I don't know how to move my hips like that, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm like, but where are you going to learn it? Like,
Yes.
just go, just
Yeah.
go and start, because every other woman has the exact same mindset as you.
Right.
They think they're too old. They think they're not the right body type. They haven't ever danced or done anything. They don't know how to move, and they've never felt sensual in their entire life.
Hmm.
That's when you need to go. Like, so I don't know. I think that it's amazing, and I think that every woman should go and try it because it just gives you so much confidence.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many women have come back to me after, going for a while,
Hmm.
that say it changed the relationship with my spouse in the bedroom. Like, and not because they're pole dancing, because they're comfortable with their body.
Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
That's all it is. They're just more comfortable with their body, and so they're fine to show that confidence in other ways. So I don't know. It's amazing.
You hit the nail on the head. I think it's the confidence and reconnecting with your physical body because we don't, as women, in order to like have the job and be the mom and do all the things, you kind of
Yes.
disassociate from your physical body because you can't be sexy. You don't want people to see you that way. You want to be
Yeah.
seen as like professional or the mom who's like stern and nurturing and all these things. So it's like we shut down our
Yes.
feminine energy or whatever it is, we just turn that part of ourselves off until something maybe happens someday, one day this spark goes off and you're like, I kind of want to like who I am. Like
Right.
I like what like I'm getting older. I don't have a lot of time left with this body before it's going to be,
I always
wrinkled and sagging and I
I
mean
joke.
we're all getting there slowly, but
We are.
um but yeah, you realize, oh, I need to figure out how to feel comfortable in this body. And
I
I
always
feel
joke
like,
with people that women come in, and I'm like, I love watching the clothing transition. They come
yeah,
in
yeah.
shorts that go almost to their knee and like t-shirts. And
Yeah.
then they go to the biker short, and then they go to like the boy short, and pretty soon they're coming in their underwear, and we just
Yep.
love it. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that you feel comfortable enough and good enough in your body that you can come like that. I love seeing the minimizing clothing.
And it happens universally.
It
Anybody
does.
you talk to, I don't care where you are in the world, if you are an instructor at a pole studio, you've witnessed this a million times.
Yes. So fun. I love it.
And it's fun every time watching them come back with smaller and smaller outfits. Like,
Yep,
I
it
can do
is.
it.
It is.
I think seeing women surprise themselves is so rewarding too,
It
as an
is.
instructor. Whether they're surprised by their strength, their capability, their their ease when they realize, oh, I can move my hips like that, and all of a sudden they're like,
Yes.
oh, and it's like, okay, see, and
Yep.
they're blowing their own minds, and it's like all you needed was, I hate to say permission because it's like we
Mhm.
need to give ourselves permission to do it, but you needed the safe space to
Yes,
explore that.
I
And the
agree.
pole studio is a unique place to do that. Like, it's not the same as the gym or the yoga studio or even a regular dance studio.
Right.
To some degree, you get some of that, but there's something about using your brute strength to climb up a pole in a tiny little outfit while other women are cheering you. It's
Yes.
like, wow, this is a
And
unique experience I never thought I'd have in my life. It doesn't even make sense when you
yes.
think about it.
And then you go home and you put all of your clothes back on, and you go to the grocery store, and you, for me, this is what I did when I started. I would look at people and I'm like, you have no idea how awesome I am.
Yeah.
You can't see my muscles underneath my t-shirt, but they're there and I'm amazing.
Yes. Like, if you only knew what I was just doing.
Seriously though,
Yeah.
it's so much fun. I always tell people when they come for the first time, I'm like, you have one of two things that you can do for the rest of your life. You can be a big fat liar and tell people that you've never pole danced before, or you're now a pole dancer. Like, and they always
Yeah.
laugh. I'm like, you are now officially a pole dancer. You either have to lie about it or you just have to admit it.
Yes. I love that.
So anyway.
I love it. Oh, that's so good. Well, on that note, I'm going to cut us off.
Okay,
I always hate cutting it at the end, but we have to end at some point. So
totally
I'm
fine.
going to put a link to April's Instagram in the show notes and also to the studio. So if you are in Utah, in the area, you're looking for classes, this sounds interesting, you're curious or whatever, go take a class with April. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're in shape or out of shape. Just go do it. And
Just
she's super
come.
friendly and nice. Listen and look at her. She's not scary. You're going to be okay and have a good time. Um, but thank you for being here. I
You're
really enjoyed
welcome.
getting to know you and having this conversation. And like I said, I hope I get to see you in real life
We would
sometime.
love that. That would be amazing.
All right. Until next time, everybody, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fit, Fierce, and Fearless. I'm your host, Zen, and I built this podcast for women over 40 who are reclaiming their bodies, their stories, and their damn time. We share real conversations about midlife, reinvention, and movement as the path back to you. That's pole, dance, aerial arts, and more. So if you liked this episode, please subscribe, share it, comment. We love to hear from you. I appreciate you being here. Until next time.